Hey guys, and welcome to the video. So, what are we going to do in this one? Well, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my process for cutting and keying my model for 3D printing. Just so everything kind of slots in perfectly together. The seams are really small, so there's very little cleanup or gap filling when you put the model together after you've printed it. It's a nice, quick, easy process, and there's a couple of variations to do it, but we'll do it this way. Now I've got my model here. It's the Dragon Lord bust that I've made, and he's been broken up into 3 pieces. They're all still a Dynamesh. I do like to do this while it's still Dynameshed, just to make sure that everything's kind of closed and sealed once I've done it, and it's Dynameshed at a very high kind of resolution. So how do we go about it? Well, the first thing we want to do is we want to make a cut around his neck for his head to slot on. Now this could be printed off in one piece, easy enough. The whole thing could be printed off in one piece depending on the scale, and generally when I do make my STL files I make a couple of versions. I make a split version so you can kind of print bigger, and also make a solid version. So let's split this baby up. First thing we're going to do is we're going to bring in a plane 3D like this, and we'll move it, and we're going to scale it up and put the poly frame on. So first thing I want to do is I want to get rid of the poly groups, so B, and I'm going to go, or the creasing, sorry, uncrease all, and then I want to kind of lower the resolution on this, and we could actually do it a different way where I could just append a Q cube, delete the plane, and if I bring the cube in, scale it up, just get rid of the back here, delete hidden, and now I'm just going to go in and insert some edge loops just to give it a little bit more to work with. So go to our Z modeler, and we're going to insert multiple, 1 2 1 2 1 1. There we go, and that should be enough for us to work with. Now want to rotate this 90 so it's facing up, and we're going to grab the middle 4 here, and we're going to Q cube them, or Q mesh them up, mask off the top, invert the mask, and we'll bring this to the top, just scale this down so it's like that. Nice and simple shape. Draw. Pretty simple so far. We'll make that into one poly group, not an issue. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to add some, get rid of this one, and I'm going to get rid of this one, and I'm going to get rid of this one, and I'm going to get rid of this one, and this one, and this one. Very low. Now I'm going to add some bevels to these edges. So if we go to our edge action, go to bevel, edge loop complete, and we'll just drag that down. Do the same and make them all even. You just need to tap on the other ones, and it'll bring in exactly the same bevel. And we kind of want that shape there. Now these are just so it can slide in and out a lot easier. Right, so the next thing we want to do is we want to go down to our dynamic subdiv, click on that, and look at that, it's a mess. We can't use that. Take smooth groups off, and we want to give it some thickness here. Let's go a bit thicker. Yeah, it looks about right. That's nice like that. We give it a bit more. Problem being is it's thickness generally all around. So what I want to do is I want to mask off the bottom here, invert the mask, and then I'm going to slide that up. So that cut's going to be tiny. Where are we? grabbing it. Let's have a look. Oh, it's because, sorry, we haven't applied the Dynamesh yet. So we'll turn off or leave the thickness on, and we're going to click apply. Now we're going to mask off the bottom, invert the mask, and I want to slide this up. So that is very, very thin, that actual line, but this is a little bit thicker. Now, as you can see, it's kind of messed up here a little bit. Doesn't really matter. What we can do is, before we bevel the edges, we can do it that way. So if we go to draw, and we go all the way back, we take these bevels off, get rid of this line. Okay, right, there we go. So at this stage we hit Dynamics, take smooth off, bring our thickness up again. Oop. Yeah, that should do. And then apply it from there. And now we can move this up a bit. So this one's quite thin. Very thin, in fact. Nice. And now we can add our bevels. So B, bevel, edge loop. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Should go all the way around and through. Does perfectly. Now I want to group by normals. There we go. So now we've got our inner and our outer. And this should work perfectly. Hey everyone. So I'm super excited to announce that my original STL files are now available for purchase on Gumroad and Fangs. So whether you're into 3D printing for tabletop gaming, collecting display models, or just love unique designs, I've got something for you. On Gumroad you can grab all of my designs individually, and if you're looking for more value though, you'll love what I'm offering on Fangs, a monthly subscription. With this subscription you'll get access to exclusive STL files every month, along with some special perks I'll be rolling out soon. So whether you want to pick up a single design or join a membership for a steady stream of awesome models, there's an option for everyone. With that out of the way, let's get back to the video. See you later. So the next thing we're going to do is we need to move this in position on how we want it, on which way we want it facing. So do we want the head to have the protruding key, or do we want the neck? So I want the neck to have the protruding key. So we're going to scale this down. May have made the actual key a little bit too big, but that's all right. And I'm just going to put it into position. And just adjust it so it's kind of not clipping anything you don't want it to cut. There we go. Might want to bring it down a tiny bit more, right there on that kind of edge there. And it's just this part that can be a little bit finicky at times. You just want to make sure you've got it exactly in the position you want it to be. Looks about right to me. It's not touching anything else. Awesome. Right, so what we need to do next is we need to move this up under our model here. Okay, turn the poly frame off on that. And we're going to set this to negative. And we're going to hit our live Boolean. And as we can see, if we scroll in, it's the tiniest of cuts. Okay. So then all we need to do is click Make Boolean Mesh. Let that do its thing. It's going to sit there and kind of generate the new mesh based around the Boolean. And because we've got it as a Dynamesh, when the new one comes out and we split it, we can re-Dynamesh, so it might fill in any holes that Boolean causes. So let's append it in. There we go, our new Boolean Mesh. Turn these off, have a look at it. polyframe, and we'll just hit auto groups. And you can see we're in two different poly groups. There's one, and that is quite a big key. So I generally go a little bit smaller. Looks like for this one I've gone a little bit too big. This is not a problem, we can fix it. But if we reverse that, and we've got the key coming from the neck. Now what I'd like to do is I'll split my hidden mesh, and I want to tidy it up a bit. So I'm going to bring this up, my Dynamesh. It should be okay, go there and hit Dynamesh. Let it do its thing. It's going to think about it. And nice and clean. Look at that. And then at the end of the day, once we're all ready to go, I will decimate the entire model, because obviously 4 million polygons for one model is a little bit too much. And then we go to the same thing here. And we'll just move this up a bit. And we'll Dynamesh this one. Now I Dynamesh them quite high so they retain the kind of nice sharp. I don't want it to get all blobby. But there is that. And that is a nice, quick and easy way to create your keying. So if we move the head, there we go. Just up like that, slots straight in perfectly. Back down. Now the second way we do things is, now we want to add the hair to the head. So I'm going to take the hair, hide this, and I'm just going to duplicate this off, move it down. And the way I do this is going to be just with a simple key, because it's going to be really hard to cut this. So we just want to bring in another Q-cube, which I've got set down here, and we will move this into place. Polyframe, and I'm just going to get rid of the edges here like this. Now basically this one's really simple. Move it, mask it off, and we're just going to taper that in. Okay, and then same thing again, we're going to add our bevels. 2, 3, 4. That's nicely done. And I want to slot that into the hair. So we're going to move it. Probably pop it into position. And this is going to be the actual piece that we print. So we're going, once we've done this, we're going to duplicate it off, and I'll show you what I mean, or why I do that. Especially for things like this, when you need to slot them in, you need to make them a tiny bit bigger when you make the Boolean mesh, just so there's a slight gap, so it will fit in. If it's one-to-one just to cut, it's not going to slide in. You'll have to do a little bit of cleanup. You can do it that way if you don't mind sanding or breaking things down, but I just find this way makes it a little bit easier. So we'll put that into place. Now I want to turn this, I'm going to duplicate it first because I will be using it again. But I'm going to increase this a bit and turn it into a Dynamesh. So look. Yep, that's fine. And I'm going to merge it down to the hair. So we're going to merge down and then just re-Dynamesh it so it's all one piece. Let's have a look. There we go. Control W. So this is going to be the piece that we're actually going to print. So we need to duplicate it off. We'll go back to this one again, and we're going to bring the hair back. Now we need to turn this one into a Boolean. As you can see, it's doing that. But we need to make it a tiny bit bigger. just so this around here will fit perfectly. So what I do is I've just got the hair selected. I will go to my inflate and just inflate that the tiniest bit. That should be enough. Go back to the head, make Boolean Mesh, let it do its thing, thinking about it. And let it run through its process to make it. There we go, and we're going to go append Boolean Mesh. Hide that, hide that. So the second one is the one we're going to keep. The body is the one we're going to keep. And so far I'm going to delete this head and this hair. And we looks like we deleted the key as well. But that's the new Boolean Mesh. There's the hair with its key in it. And finally, we've got the stand. So again, we're going to duplicate it. We'll bring it to the bottom. That's the body. So we need to Boolean this out of the body, but because we accidentally deleted our key, we'll have to make a new one. So just append Q cube, move it down, draw, and we're just going to rid of these faces, or these edges, sorry. Bevel that in. I might make that a little bit longer, and we'll just bring that down. That looks like it's kind of in the perfect spot. Bevel the edges again. So it's just kind of rinse and repeat. But like I said, you can, if you pre-make these and then save them out as an insert mesh brush, it makes things a whole lot easier. Control W, Dynamesh it, and then we want to merge it down to the stand. Merge down, re-Dynamesh, that's one piece. Think about it for a second. Hopefully ZBrush doesn't crash. Nice. And now what we want to do is we want to cut it out of the body. So again, we need to duplicate it because we need to inflate it a tiny bit. Hit negative on this one. Take away the polyframe so we can see it. And just inflate it the tiniest bit. Now, because they are Dynameshes, you don't technically have to do a Boolean. Because it is set to Boolean, all we need to do is select the top one, the body, and merge it down to the stand. And it's like, oh no, we've joined them together. And then we just remesh and it'll cut it out. Just like that. There we go. Let's cut it out beautifully. And that's the one we slot in. So, all pieces cut and keyed, ready to go. Didn't take any more than, what, 5-10 minutes? So what, 18 minutes. Okay, I'm a little bit off. But it's really, really simple. Then from here, all you need to do is rescale your model. Or, sorry, first thing I'd do is decimate it. Check the integrity in a model, make sure it's all one piece. So if we go to the head here, and I'm just going to go check mesh. It's telling me it's okay, but I don't count that perfectly. So what I'll do is then I will go to the 3D print hub and check mesh volume. Now if it comes up with a number, you know you're solid. It's a solid piece. It's airtight. If it tells you it's not, then you've kind of got to do a bit of a workaround, which is kind of filling holes or just making sure there's no floating parts. Simple enough to do. But then once I've done that, I will decimate the model, recheck the integrity again, and then I will scale it to how big I want the model to be on the slicer. And I have another video on that, which is very helpful in regards to getting the perfect scale from ZBrush to any slicer you want without having to readjust things once you get into the slicer. And you can check that video out up there in the corner. There'll be a little tag to it. Anyway, I hope this helps with you guys cutting and keying your models. I hope it's a different way of doing things, or if you already knew it. I made this one way too big. I'd really go back and make it smaller and redo it again, but it was just to kind of really show you what I do. Thanks for checking out the video. I hope you're really liking my content. If you do, leave a comment. If you've got any other ways that you cut things in ZBrush, I'm currently trying to learn how to do them in Blender as well. I think it's a little bit more precise, but yeah, for cutting models in ZBrush, this is kind of the process I go. Generally, I would have modeled it to actually cut it under the collar, so I would have had it separate, but I just did this as one piece. And yeah, if you're liking my content, please give the video a like, leave a comment, and if you're really liking my stuff, please subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next one. Catch you later.